everyone! It's really great to be here to talk to you guys today. Just in case you don't remember who I am, it is the Lawn Gnome. I am here, and I have kind of been here in some shape or form, just throwing out a video here and there, whether it's over here on my channel or over on my second channel, That's Comical. Just want to say to all of you who have been here for so many months or years even, just want to say thank you all for your support and coming back every single time a new video gets posted. And for all of you who are new, I'm really glad that you are here today because it's been a while since I've actually given you guys a real heart-to-heart sit-down update because I haven't been doing those for quite a while, but I kind of felt that this specific time was an important time to bring you guys an update because I'm sure a great deal of you have a lot of questions, especially if you haven't really been in contact with me for a while, because I have made it known on my channel that I have officially begun the path to fatherhood. I'm actually right smack in the middle of it. I was given the blessing of my wife and I welcoming our now 4-month-old daughter into this world. And because of the fact that today, while I'm recording this video, is her very first day of daycare, and I am still working from home, thankfully, today is a mental health day for me, so I am not working today. I actually was on family leave for the last 3 weeks as my wife was heading back to work. I thought it would be nice to just have a couple of extra days to bond with my daughter, even though I have been working from home since she was born and she has gotten to know me quite well. But I felt that because I don't have her to look after right now until tonight, and I don't have anything else to really think about or do, I thought it would be great to just sit down and tell you guys, what has it been like being a first-time parent? And is it everything you've ever dreamed of? Is it the horror story that you keep hearing about? Is it going to make you want to have children of your own someday or not even have a child at all? Well, as I always say, in good taste, you do you, wackadoo. Whatever you feel is best for you, that is fine. But my wife and I knew that there was going to be a baby in our lives and that we were going to go from being a married couple to a family. And we are not the youngest people in the world. I mean, I saw the birth of my baby girl 3 months before I turned 41. So yes, I was 40 when my baby was born. So my wife is also younger than me, but she, like myself, we're not spring chickens. So this was a pregnancy and a birth that we were hoping was not going to have any serious issues and that we were going to have a happy and healthy baby that we are just going to love and cherish for the rest of our days. So I guess the first question that you guys are going to ask me was, Lawn Gnome, if this could possibly be your first and only child, which it is going to be, were you upset when you found out that it was a girl and not a boy? Well, I'm going to flat out be 100% honest with you all. No, I was not upset that it was a girl. As a matter of fact, based on where we currently are and where we were back when my daughter was born, we were looking at horrible inflation, and money was extremely tight, even though we had some really prosperous years in the markets. I was thankful about the fact that I have so many nieces that we got hand-me-downs like you wouldn't believe. We were not going to have to worry about spending any money on clothing. So this is an economy-saving baby, and we are very grateful about that. But no, of course I was excited that I was going to have a daughter. I mean, daddy's little girl and all that stuff. So is my daughter going to be a movie buff, a comic book fan, a Funko Pop collector, someone who's going to want to see Marvel movies and DC movies? I've said this to so many people, and I'll say it to all of you. If she's interested in all this stuff, of course I will be thrilled. But if she is not and wants to beat to the sound of her own drum, as long as she acknowledges the fact that this is what my father is into and I'm okay with it, then I'm going to be okay with it. That's all that I ask for. So, yes, having a daughter is a true blessing. My favorite times of the day are in the morning when we go and see her to wake up in the morning. Almost all the time she wakes us up, and there is just this illuminating smile on her face, and just every single time we make eye contact with her, she just gets so excited to see us. She is always smiles and squeals and giggles, and that just makes me very happy. I felt that it would be wise to give you guys a little bit of insight as to what the past 4 months have been, and maybe even break a couple of myths. So, the first thing that I really want to introduce you all to is, if you are expecting a child, especially for the first time, yes, you are going to be hearing a lot from friends and family, especially parents and in-laws. All I'm going to say is, don't listen to them, or at least take it with a grain of salt, because everybody's child is different. Everybody's parenting methods are different, especially if you are getting lectured by people who haven't had a baby in 30 plus years. Things were different back then. When I was a baby, we were allowed to have blankets and pillows and dolls in our cribs. Now, we're not even allowed to have that until the baby is over the age of 1. So, it's a very different world. So, just smile and nod. Accept the fact that they're trying to at least help you, but at the end of the day, it's going to be you who decides who is going to be doing the very best for their child or children, because let's not forget, you could have twins, you could have triplets, or more. And let me just say that if my wife ended up having triplets, she would have killed me. But that's beside the point. The other thing that I also wanted to say, and this is something that was actually scaring me, I was told that the minute you have a baby, you are not going to have the free time to do the things you want. You're not going to be able to watch the shows you want, the movies you want, go to the places that you want, have the time to read the things you want. It's all about taking care of your baby. That is not necessarily true. However, I will definitely say that we have made a lot of our young mommy and daddy friends very, very jealous recently, because we were blessed with a night sleeper, as well as a very good napper. My daughter is only 4 months old, and she was already sleeping through the night at 2.5 months old, maybe even earlier than that. So the fact that we did not have to worry about late night feedings much earlier than most, the fact that we didn't have to do any crazy sleep training methods, especially right now because we're dealing with the 4-month sleep regression. Even when my wife was pregnant, she would deny in a joking way, and I would press on in a joking way, that because of the fact that when she was pregnant, she never felt any kicks that would keep her up or wake her up in the middle of the night, I said to her, I think we're going to have a night sleeper, honey. And everybody's saying, you have no idea until that baby comes. Well, fast forward to when we brought our daughter home from the hospital, and even during the first month of this baby's life, yes, we were still on very little sleep, because you do have to wake up in the middle of the night every 2 hours to feed your newborn. So that is still something that you have to do. But the funny thing is, we found ourselves waking up before our daughter to get her to be fed, before she would wake us up to be fed. So we already had a baby that was sleeping at night. So it's quite amazing. And when we were almost approaching the 2-month mark, we once woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and realized that we never woke her up to feed her, and she never woke us up to feed her. So, of course, we did tell the doctor, and the doctor did say, don't worry about that. What that means is your baby is very much advanced and is pretty much ready to start sleeping through the night and having more to drink in terms of bottles a day. So that was very impressive. We were also being told by our doctor that our baby was definitely moving forward. She was rolling over. Her first rollover was in 2.5 months. That's no joke. She was starting to bat at things before 3 months. She started smiling at 5 weeks. She started to laugh at 3.5 months. And we also did manage to transition her from bassinet in our room to a crib much sooner than most people. They say that it should be 6 months, but we transferred her at 2.5 months. But that's just because of the fact that we unfortunately had a COVID situation in the house. That was brutal. I don't want to go into the full details, but yeah, we had COVID, and because of the fact that we didn't want to make anything worse for our daughter, we thought it would be wise to just move her to her own room, which was already set up. And she immediately took to her crib, and now she sleeps in her own room just wonderfully. The doctor is definitely the person that you should always take the advice seriously from. You know, we were actually told that at 3 months we could even start teaching our baby to eat solid food because she had strong neck muscles, a strong core. She was actually able to sit up with next to no support. She still needs some support, but not as much in regards to holding her head up. And she also was at a good weight, and she was drinking a lot of formula. So did we try? Yes. But was she ready? No. But when her 4-month mark came out, we gave her solid foods, and now she is officially starting to chomp down on spoons. There was a point in time where she's eating grabbing spoons. So yes, we're already starting her on some solid foods gradually. So yeah, she's growing, and now she is rolling over all the time, trying to roll over from back to tummy, even though she has mastered tummy to back. And there have even been points in time where she is starting to drag herself across her playmat. So we're seeing the early stages of crawling. It is actually kind of scary how quickly this baby is growing. But enough about the baby. What about us being the parents? Well, I will say that having a child is truly one of the greatest things that can ever happen to a human being because it does a couple of things. It makes you truly see the person that you are, meaning that you will see all of your perfections and imperfections at full force. And when you see those imperfections, you really have to take a step back and realize, wow, I can't believe I really am like this. And a perfect example for me is the fact that I didn't realize how much of a short temper I have. I really have a quick trigger. And there were some points in time when things were just getting a little bit hectic. I would scream at my wife, I would scream at my daughter, I would just be flying off the hinges and raising my voice to no avail. And everybody was saying to me, you are a good father, Steve, but you've got to take it easy and calm down. You just have to let things take its course. I mean, one of the few things that pained me the most was when my daughter was crying, because all I wanted was for her to be healthy and happy. But there would just be a day or two, sometimes right after the other, sometimes in spurts, where she would just be cranky almost all day, won't sleep, won't entertain herself, not necessarily wants to be held all the time, just not in a good mood. And when especially there are things to do, you unfortunately will get stressed, you will get angry, but the next day could be the greatest day of your life because your baby is just absolutely angelic. And I'm grateful to say that we saw many more of those good days as opposed to those bad days. And in regards to being a patient person, it's that first month where you really need to have that patience, because that is truthfully the hardest time for a parent, because all the baby can do in regards to communications is cry. You're going to have to take a little bit of time to understand those cries. Is it a hunger cry? Is it an uncomforting cry? Is it a painful cry? Is it an attention cry? Is it a tired cry? You've got to learn those cues, and you've got to really take the time to listen. That's what I've definitely learned, because that's the baby at the first month of its life. It's a potato. It doesn't even smile. It doesn't even laugh. It doesn't even look at you with loving eyes. It's just staring, and you just don't know how to feel. It's tough to create that bond. You are definitely showing this child your care, your love, you're giving it cuddles, you're giving it kisses, you're giving it hugs, you're speaking to it, but until that first smile shows up, that's really the toughest thing because the baby is just not showing its appreciation back to you. The minute I saw my daughter's very first smile, I felt completely different. I felt euphoric because I'm like, oh my goodness, here we come. And in the last 2 months, it's just been an adventure filled with joy because the sounds, the smiles, the wandering eyes, the interesting looks, the various personality traits that my daughter has been developing, whether she is being held, being fed, being woken up from a nap, on the playmat, it's just fun. It is just so much fun to watch this little human grow. And also, you develop a nice routine. You develop things that you enjoy. One of my favorite things to do with my daughter is take her for a walk. She loves being in her stroller. She loves to look at trees. I love taking her in the car because of the fact that she falls asleep in her car seat almost all the time. Unless she has the hiccups. When she has the hiccups, it is adorable. But she will sleep in her car seat, in a car. It's incredible. She takes after her mother that way. The other thing that I will definitely say that's amazing is you see that moment when you have officially transitioned from someone who is just taking care of themselves and their wife as an adult to the point where you realize, oh my God, I am a parent. It could be an amazing moment. It could be a scary moment. Unfortunately, it was a scary moment for us, and it was the second day that we were in the hospital, the first morning that our daughter experienced. She arrived on the 10th of May at around 10:37 in the morning. She actually slept that whole night through until daybreak. Never a cry to wake up, but we did have to wake her up for feedings. So my wife gave her her first breakfast the next morning, and we put her down for her first nap. And I'm looking at the baby as any doting father would, and I'm just noticing with every other breath, my daughter was shivering. And I was just looking at her and I was just saying, something is not right here. Something just doesn't feel right. So I went to the nurse. I had the nurse come and take a look at her. She took her temperature and she said, we have to bring her to the NICU to take a look at what's going on. And if it wasn't for me noticing my baby's lip quivering when she was napping, I would never have known that my daughter came down with a case of hypothermia. And it was a very severe case. If her body temperature would have dropped about 3 degrees lower, she could have died. That's what the doctor told us. We were shocked. But the good news is we immediately had her put under a heating lamp and her body temperature went back to normal in less than an hour. The problem was we had to keep her in the NICU during the rest of our hospital stay for observation. And this was not a preemie. This baby actually arrived 3 days late. So she was fully developed. So we were able to leave the hospital on time, and when we officially got the final doctor's report from the NICU, they did some blood tests and some additional tests. They said the baby was as healthy as can be. We were very, very fortunate, and we were able to all go home when we needed to. But the best part about this whole experience, because there was a silver lining, was the nurses came to me who helped me bring her to the NICU. They basically said to me, you are going to be an incredible father because of the fact that you noticed this. Now, a lot of other professionals that we have encountered, especially our daughter's pediatrician, she is very impressed with me and my wife as parents because of the fact that we always come to her with questions. When we first met her and brought our daughter for her first checkup, we brought a Word document of questions of everything you could possibly imagine. Room temperatures, bottles, sleeping methods, other things with like walking. Do we need to apply sunscreen to the baby because we were heading into summer? And she said to us after that appointment, you guys basically gave me 90% of the questions that I will just tell new parents that don't ask anything. So she said to us, you two are very ahead of the game and you are extremely prepared for parenthood. So that made me personally feel very happy. But I will say that I am very, very lucky. My daughter is truly a dream. She does have sometimes she has her bad days, but I will say where we are now, it is much easier to tackle those bad days because I truly understand my daughter now. I can catch her cues in a flash. Sometimes she'll surprise me, but most of the time I am totally on the same wavelength as her. And I am just very excited to see where the next couple of months go. I have a feeling that because she's going to be in daycare now, she is going to develop a lot faster because she's going to be around a lot of other babies that are crawling, talking, walking. I cannot wait for my daughter to take her first creeps. I can't wait for her to take her first steps, say her first words, because once she gets to that level, then it's just going to be the greatest time of my life. Just having great conversations with my daughter and just having this family continue to grow. And I am just excited for whatever life throws at me, but I'm going to go into it with a very, very prepared mind. I am going to be constantly watching everything from a social standpoint, an economic standpoint, as well as just being the best father that I possibly can be. So I don't really know what the future is for my channel, because I will definitely say the last 4 months have been a bit of a challenge in regards to getting content out, especially because of the fact that one of my favorite things to do is go to see movies in theaters. I have not done that since March, and I don't really know when my next trip to the theaters are going to be. But there's a lot of things that are unfortunately on the back burner right now that are going to gradually start coming back when I am able to give my daughter to my parents or to my wife's parents for a couple of days, and definitely also try to, you know, just do whatever I possibly can just to keep myself happy as well. But all I'm going to say is thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments in the box below. I'd love to talk to you if you are actually planning to have kids. If you want any advice that a father can give, I'm more than willing to do so. And I will definitely see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.